What up, random? Correction. What up, Schmoedown rockers? And all forms of Schmoedown fans alike. What a day. What a day. What a weekend, I should say, to be a dungeon head. Or at least that Friday was. That this jerk, the same day as a win for the dungeon column. And now now it's official between his win for number one contendership at Collision, along with Schmetz's number one contendership at Collision. And now, because of it, Zipper himself is going, despite his loss at Thursday. I mean, it's Hlavac. I mean, he put up a decent showing against a former champ and the current champ in Mike Kalinowski, and in terms of Inner Geekdom, of course, and the current champ Rachel Cushing. So I think we should have not, despite those losses, I don't think we should have underestimated him all that much. He's willing to go into the fire, fine. You know, the one thing, it's just one half of the former superhero news, not the recent one, the first iteration. Needs to step up, I guess. Or at least now, what is Hyper RPG, I guess. I think. Anyway, as saying with Zipper, you need to go back to the dungeon and train a little bit, especially now that because of Oyama's win, you need to basically represent and get Kaiser his chance at a chairman for a month, if need be. Especially if it helps get the people into the dungeon, because now, basically, dungeon's at full effect. Let's see, more likely we'll get a 2 out of 3, depending on who we wind up facing. Who Oyama winds up facing at the collision between JTE, Little Evil JTE, and Lightning Liz Shannon Miller. I said Meyer. I think it is Meyer. But it might be Miller. I don't know. Well, no, it probably is Miller. For some reason, I'm getting that confused with the kid. Forgive me for that. So, speaking of that, cut promo scene after Zipper's match. It seems we might be getting a potential breakup for critical acclaim that I don't think we really need. But if that is the case, it could lead to the movie geek making his comeback that way, and not in the way I was initially hoping for with Video Drew, which would have been a slightly more interesting and very eclectic, or what I should really be saying the right term is eccentric version of that team. And yeah, I don't know anymore as far as that's concerned, but between of course, the opening promo dealing with what happened, Zipper's loss, but that was pretty much not on Kaiser. Kaiser kind of told him not to do it if he didn't feel he was able to get confident enough to get the job done. Yet he signed anyway, out of spite, and the attitude he went into it, into that match was probably not the best, and not a dungeon approved way of going about things. So, yeah, you need to go in the dungeon and train a little bit, buddy. You're gonna need it. Same with, and Oyama's gonna need it too, especially if he's gonna wind up having to face. Well, more likely he'll have it. Freaking some people, I swear. Sorry about that. Freaking kids. Anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Anyway, overall, guys, I mean, between that, for the fact that Zipper kind of didn't have a good start in round 1, though, and with 5 out of 10, but he managed to get a couple steals in on in round 2 from Hlavac, and was able to at least do what he could to milk out what he could with a category he wasn't good with in Harry Potter. But despite that, it wasn't enough, and he couldn't get the 5-pointer down. At least it remained tied, but the 3-pointer was an easy shot for Hlavac, especially someone who used to be part of a team that was once called Superhero News before someone else took that over. But it's whatever at this point with that. So Hlavac wants to go on fire, and at some point, I don't mind him going up against Fouch. I will say good luck with that. You probably definitely gonna need to go in the dungeon for that, because I know she can be good, but more likely beat her, then see how Chance is in Inner Geekdom, then after you beat Haley, take him on, and then you'll pose enough of a threat to Kalinowski. Hopefully. But and then when it came to the whole big hype of the match that we were all waiting for, and that, my friends, was of course Oyama versus Chance. I'm not gonna lie, I was in a tight spot. Chance was kind of part of one of the few reasons why I even stuck with Corruption for a while, up until Smets showed up and, did his thing. And, I didn't get a chance to catch up fan links because it's a lot harder to do so. And at some point, I probably need to try to do the other fan league stuff, maybe, if I ever get a chance to, but probably won't do super well. I don't exactly have the time to be able to pull off a good steady regimen anyway. But anyway, I'd have to basically Makuga a lot of things. So, but anyway, yeah. But Oyama missed one question in round 1, and almost would have cost him, but he wound up making a perfect second round comeback. Wasn't able to get the steal on the one question that Chance had missed, but and despite missing his 3-pointer, was able to get the 5-pointer, which the moment I knew was essentially classic related question. I didn't doubt that it's a classic related question. I didn't doubt he wouldn't have gotten it. Though the 5, and yeah, his first and second were seemed pretty easy, though. In all honesty, Chance probably could have actually had a chance had he, not screwed up on that 3-pointer, or like he did, and had to waste it, and had to wind up wasting it in order to get that 3-pointer needed in order to get it to Oyama. And if he actually got it right and listened to the question entirely, he might have had enough of an extra. You would have been able to still have that extra one in handy if he needed to, in order to help him to burn out, in order to help him possibly get the question, and or at least open up a possibility for a far closer guess, and even if it wasn't going to get him where he needed to get him the answer that he needed to win the match, which I'm glad he didn't. Dungeon needed to win after what happened with Zipper, even though technically that was not even on Kaiser. So as far as we are concerned, and as proven with that post, which was, I felt, despite that obvious thing that might be about as heelish as it gets with Kaiser, for me personally at least. But he did bring a sense of inspiration and show that Zipper, and give that certain level of confidence boost a manager should do. Despite the hip pocket. And it seems, at least, Hip Pocket for the most part is paying off. And hopefully come Collision, it will pay off. And with the dungeon now officially in full effect. Ladies and gentlemen. And I can't be more, for the most part, I can't be more prouder. Zipper needs to study a little bit more than Oyama, but he probably should go in the dungeon too. Everyone needs to go in the dungeon, Kaiser. Make that a thing. If you gotta make separate rooms, you know, little isolated rooms, and put them in, you know, form your own little solitude of some sort for them, for the chance to get them to, you know, do what they gotta do with the trivia dungeon. Also, the pre-cut thing involving Dagnino and it seems aren't entirely on the same page. Comes to Horseman, him and Roka aren't entirely on the same page up until the final cut promo of this week, where we find out Roka is going to be the one representing the Horseman, and for Dagnino to possibly get a chance to, which more than likely he will, depending on what if the family does give us McWeenie, which is more likely a shot, and if that is the case, Irwin's probably going to show up as well. If that is the case, Irwin will be up there, and and Zipper might be the one that may wind up being the underrated of all the players on the table, and it would surprise me if he does win it. Depending on who else it is, it seems Dagnino may end up having this in the bag. And to be fair, if the dungeon don't get it, let's face it, Kaiser's not going to be too upset if, you know, he sees more promos of one of his favorite shows in Little Bobby and the Juice. So, you know, it's to him, as long as you know, if he don't win and Dagnino gets it, he's fine too. He's fine with that too. So, as far as I'm concerned, that's a win-win for the dungeon. Plus, I think he's sort of honorary dungeon material, or at least he's proven enough through just making Little Bobby and the Juice at this point, and having, you know, had managed a former longest reigning team champs in the Schmoedown. So yeah, overall, guys, happy dungeon head. Sorry, Chance, but to quote Mr. Man, you had no chance now against Prime Time. In fact, you wound up being fresh ground meat for some of those Prime Time burgers for the dungeon, to stock up in the dungeon this time around. And yeah, set your clocks. It's Prime Burger time. Going in to Collision, and smashes, and of course smash. Proud dungeon head, proud Smash fan, proud fan of, even though I know we're the factions of the dungeon, amongst those within the Trivia Dungeon fan group, we shall refer to that as, you know, the Kaiser crew, you know, if that's fine. Still, that hashtag's still going. I'm going to keep it going, just at least for the Trivia Dungeon page. Screw it. So, and yeah, as far as I know, my guess is more than likely it's going to be McWeenie and possibly Irwin, but it all depends on how things go with Janine versus the white bread. That if he's gonna bring it into singles like he had in his Intergeekdom Championship match against Rachel Cushing at this past throwdown, yeah, that white bread's gonna have some whole grain going. So be careful of that. Though Chance you still have a chance. Technically. Of course, you got a Action Army Brat, and I guess a fellow dungeon head in Brandon Hanna in the Inargita match that's going to be at the time of this recording today. If you're, a $2 or more patron, like myself, at this point. And I come up with a binder for those collectible prints. But anyway, at some point you'll see that down the line. Might upgrade to get some extra shirts, limited edition shirts, so I have more Schmoedown swag besides this shirt, which you won't be seeing as often. Might save it for the special day to watch and to review ish that. But let's see. I guess the Janine and Corruption match is there, or maybe there's the team potential, because apparently there was a surprise Q&A this past Saturday, and surprisingly it was kind of early, the earliest in a while for a Schmoedown rundown. I'll say that much. Being a Saturday, usually I have to wait till Sunday, today for that matter, to watch it. But anyway. Yeah, speaking of the dungeon, you can also check me talking to D2A and the Cosmic Night Fury himself, D2A member and Schmoedown reactor, fellow Schmoedown kind of sort of reactor, even though I'm technically an after show, I guess you could say. And Nico, Suave Regali, the Cosmic Night Fury. Check that out. Decided to join in because I couldn't really comment in the comment section while watching it for some reason. I don't understand that. Need to work out the kinks in that, I guess, somehow. Don't know. Don't exactly know how. Still working on the dungeon. Fixing up the kinks in the dungeon. And anyway, 10 out. Overall, looking forward to that 4-way. Hopefully Keaton Markeen, I think is her name, might actually do a better show up, and I'm not sure who the other person is in Inargitum in that 4-way, but maybe she might be more the undercard since no one knows who she is, as opposed to who we're dealing with Brandon Hanna and of course Ellison making his Inargitum debut because of the match she had to put up with, that Emma had to put up with against Chance. Happens. We'll see how that goes. But, and I guess from that hint thing of the Q&A thing I was talking, just kind of hinted at, apparently, I guess we're going to be getting the Founding Fathers versus Corruption match, or at least that's kind of the hint I'm guessing we're going to be having, after all. So, even though I don't think they're going to confirm it until they finally do a promo, I don't know if we're going to get it in which match we're going to finally get that promo in, but we'll see. We shall see. And whether or not it'll finally be confirmed on Facebook. But anyway, yeah. Cannot wait for that. It's gonna be interesting matchup. Also gonna be in a tough spot with that one too. So overall, I enjoyed all these matches. Which is Dungeon Full and Brack. It's Prime Burger time, ladies and gentlemen. And, yeah. What did you guys think of the matches? What did you guys think of my thoughts on this? Leave a comment below. Let me know. Let me know. Hit the notification bell. Make sure you click the all if you have that option. Rock that like button with thrust if you must there. Link in the description below to my Facebook page. If you're able to get there, like and follow me there. And you'll probably see me also through my actual name, which I may not really say here, but you'll find me all over the place in the Schmoedown, in many pages, especially in the Trivia Dungeon, the official Smiths. And eventually I will add the name, the hashtag Kaiser Crew in that list, just because or just the hashtag the dungeon in general, or Endolphin's Dungeon Approve. I'm still working on that too. May have to wait another 20-something days till I could say something on it, or until someone else decides to do something about it. But until then, man, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking. If you smell what the movie trivia Schmoedown and Schmoedown Rocks is cooking, smash.